Hello, good evening, yet again. Tonight, I wanted to follow up, and I apologize, I am stuffy. I've got projects running in the background. There's all kinds of terrible noise, I'm sure. And you know what? I'm just not going to do the post production tonight because I don't have the spoons for that this time. If you don't know about spoon theory and MS, you should probably check that out. It would be very useful to you, I think. We might get into that here in the near future too, but yep, in the meantime, I have caught some kind of nice little bug. Throat is sore, nose is plugged. Somebody said, I said, they heard me talking. They said, you sound like Vin Diesel. I said, only family gets to talk to me like that. Anyway, moving on. Last week we talked about the importance of having projects and having things that you're doing in people's lives where they count on you. Let's say you're visiting somebody on the regular and you are the only person that visits them. Very important. Let's say it's something as simple as you bring in somebody's newspaper when they're away. They count on you. Those are great things to have built in your life and in your community, and I highly recommend looking at those and trying to build on them. What I wanted to talk about tonight a little bit was how to pick a project. For me, this got really overwhelming, especially in the information age, because every project I thought was innovative and new and different, somebody else was already doing. Here's a fun fact: they aren't you doing it. And that's pretty neat. If you look on YouTube right now, there's at least one other guy that's got a MS Life video, right? I didn't find him till like 2 months into making this, but there's another guy doing it, but it's not me doing it. You're getting my personal flavor on it. The same thing with if you look up how to hook up pipes for plumbing or hook up electrical stuff or how to write a resume. There's 10 people at any given time doing the same thing that the others are doing, and it's fine. It's fine because each one of them presents it in a way that connects with other people in an important way, a deeper way than the others. And that's perfectly okay. So, first, when you're picking a project, understand much like music, mathematically, it's already all been done before. Start there, it's already been done. Now, how can you impart your personal logos, your flavor, your essence into that project? Now that's where it gets interesting. That's where you make it uniquely yours. And that's in anything. It doesn't matter if you're setting up a garden hose at somebody's house. It's okay. It's going to be the way you did it. Maybe you have a little more attention to detail than others. Maybe you have a little less. As long as it works, whoop-de-doo. So, definitely, I really recommend picking projects that you feel like you have a grasp of, that you're competent in, and that you can share with others. Now, we talked about YouTube videos. That doesn't mean everybody has to make a YouTube video on what they're doing. If you see your neighbor needs some help with a fence and you happen to have some kind of expertise in swinging a hammer, there you go. There's a great project that has also a neighborly dependence on it that's really good, and it will really resist that temptation to get depressed. Now, this is where I run into a lot of trouble. I have to play a balance of because I have only so much energy or so many spoons based on the spoon theory. Um, I have a wide variety of projects that are always going. So think about 36 plates always spinning, but they all spin at different rates, so I don't always have to be working on them. Some of them are glued to the sticks that they're spinning on, so they can just sit there and not spin for years. Doesn't matter. Um, the reason I have so many is because depending on the day, week, month, year I'm having energy wise, I may not be able to focus on that project in the way that it needs. So what I'll do is I'll pick one of the variety of projects and see which one is most closely aligned to the energy and focus I have for working on a project in that time. The downside to this, and it's an awful downside, every now and then when I'm really feeling low, all I see is all the projects and all the things I'm not getting done. And that it just weighs on you to the point where you don't do anything at all. That's okay. I mean, fight it, avoid it. Please don't do it if you can avoid it. But when you get a minute, or when somebody else that you trust can talk to you about it, get with them and help them reorient your time horizons, your energy horizons, your focus horizons, your project horizons, and get back to work. Especially if you can pick projects that are making the world less dark. Now, I will tell you, whatever light you're bringing through your art or through your project, it's more light than there was yesterday. So it's already doing at least that much good. Um, even if it's going in the wrong direction, it inspires discussion, provokes thought, and it stirs you up and helps move you to where you can say, okay, well, maybe that wasn't as right as it could have been, but I can adjust it now and get better and better. Uh, that's that's invaluable. I really think that's important, especially if you can include the dependence of others on your project. Let's say you really want to learn how to build ramps, and so you volunteer to help build ramps for those in need, those who are in wheelchairs that need a ramp for their house. Great idea. That is a perfect way to align your skill set, your desire to improve your skill set, and your desire to impact the world in a positive way. Now, Chase, I don't have time for that. I work 2 full-time jobs. That's okay. Make it smaller. Find something as small as you can make it that you could do, that you would do, and build from there. And you'll find that when you do one thing, it kind of spins up another one. And that includes your career. Let's say you're working 2 full-time jobs because you don't have a valuable, oh, let me make sure I phrase this right. Every skill set that's functioning in the world to help it make the world less hell is valuable. However, from a mass benefit perspective, there are some skill sets and ideas and concepts that help more people uh, per hour. Let's go with per hour. And those types of skills and ideas are worth more monetarily. Doctors, for instance, are a great example of this. You can spend 80 hours a week digging a trench, and I'm sorry, but there's lots of people that can dig trenches. However, if you spend 80 hours a week as a doctor, it's just worth more monetarily because not as many people are willing to take that risk, willing to put themselves forward and dedicate that much time to education or to their career. So, since it seems that there are skills that are worth more, maybe finding a project that helps you develop a skill that is worth more monetarily, even if you start out small. Like, I really enjoy 3D printing. 3D printing has gotten really easy and cheap. Also, 3D drafting. It's gotten easy and cheap to do, but it's still a valuable tool in the world. So, that is a great example of where you can find somebody who needs some help with some 3D drafting. The tools out there are cheap, and you educate yourself, and now you've given yourself this thing that keeps you from having to work 80 hours a week. Now you get a new job where you're working, let's say it's 60 hours a week to do the same money. That it's not perfect, but it's further along. But now you've got 20 hours a week more that you can dedicate toward building projects where you can help more people or just do more projects that make you feel fulfilled. I'm rambling, but I am really trying to lay out a map for not only the importance of having projects and where it can take you mentally and from an anxiety and depression point of view, but also monetarily. those little nuggets, or you carve out 5 minutes a day or 5 minutes a week, whatever it is that you can work on. If you carve it out, put it in a calendar and say, for those 5 minutes, no matter what, I'm going to work on this, even if I'm dog tired. That can spin up something that improves your life and your quality of living dramatically. So, yeah, picking a project. I like to have all of those things in mind. If I'm picking a project, is it something I'm competent in? No? Okay. Is it something I'm competent in enough to get me by, but I can learn and develop that skill to make me more competent for bigger projects of this nature later? Yes. I'm on that one. That is me all day long. I love that kind of thing. That's how I got into 3D printing. It's how I got into building electric conversions. It's how I got into making hot rods and just, even as a kid, Lego and things like that. That was me. I love that. Um, just don't let it overwhelm you. Don't build up too much. So, yeah, how to pick a project. I would say have a profile of what a project should look like, what your schedule looks like to allow for it, for you to be able to reliably get to it without missing it. Because when you set a goal and then it's an impossible goal from the get-go and you just miss it all the time, all you've done is dug yourself deeper into that anxiety and depression ditch. We don't want that. So make sure it's something that you can do. Now, when you have those windows of time, make sure it's something interesting enough that you will do. Very important here. And if you've got that, and then if you can put that cherry on the top, that when you do it, it's something that somebody thanks you for doing. I'm telling you, you do one or two of those a month, and then you're doing one or two a week, and then you're doing what you can to do it daily. It becomes this drug that you just can't get enough of. And at least for me, and I know I'm no psychiatrist, psychologist, or counselor of any kind, for me, it works great. All my knowledge here is anecdotal, so if you're feeling like you're in a rut, if you're interested in doing projects, I highly recommend reaching out to an actual psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, whatever. At least get a friend that's a good friend that you actually count on their advice on. Talk with them on it, maybe even set up some accountability. Promise you. No, you know what? I'm not going to promise you. I'm going to say it's going to work, but if it doesn't, let me know. Send me a comment. Let me know it didn't work. Here's why it didn't work. Chase your speaking rubbish. And with that, good night. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you have a great evening.